Right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the channel. We're going to be taking a look what's in this box today, which is a product from Salvo Precision. I've had it for a while. This has actually been used, so I've had to disassemble all the stuff that was on it and put it back in because my editor Netsi used this in the gas blowback only event. So if you did miss that event, the next one is on the 4th of September. So make sure you get booked onto that. This is the Salvo Precision SURG, or I've been calling it the SURG because it's a little bit weird. So we're going to take a look at this today. It comes in a hard case, as all Salvo Precision products do. And we flip this open and you can see inside what you get. Usual manual with exploded diagram. And in this kit, we get the gun itself, we get the stock, which we need to put on. We get a humongous suppressor and a double eagle Salvo Stanag magazine. So we're going to take all this out of the box first. So there might be a couple of marks on this, just so you're aware. We did set this up a different way to how it comes out of the box, but we'll get to that in a moment. So we have all these bits. We have a magazine. We can drop this. I tend to, with all these cases, I've got like 7 or 8 of these cases now. Once I get the products, what I do is I pull this out. Now, what's different about this one is it drops down quite far compared to the others. This is actually quite thick, but usually this is what I run. I'm sure this is a little bit different. Let me check that because it's going to bug me. Now, because I've got a ton of these cases, I've got a graffiti artist down here at HC2, which has been doing a lot of work on the site. So I asked him to do a couple of cases, and he did me one in Miami-esque tiger stripe. So you'll see, well, you might be able to see in this one, the foam sits considerably higher, so it comes just under the lip there. On the one for the SURG kit, however, just the only reason I'm pointing it out is because usually with all these cases, I take this out, you'll see it sits a hell of a lot lower. So if you're going to do that, because obviously they come disassembled, with a folding stock, you could fold it and still get it in here. It might be fine, but if you do that, what you might find is the stuff moves about a bit in the case. So just something to think about. But I've got a ton of these cases now. They're actually really, really good. So I've been stockpiling them. But he's going to be doing some designs for me. So we've got a couple of pieces here. The SURG model that I went for, now the handguard straight off the bat, is a little bit loose. I think it was the RSAR that was like that as well. Yeah, I think my RSAR, or maybe the Rattler I had. The handguards do come a little bit loose, but this handguard doesn't have the extra screws which screw into the receiver. So not the end of the world. You could easily just pack this little gap out here and eliminate it. So, right, let's get a tool. So this will be a 4mm Allen key. I use Allen drivers, but either's fine. And all we do, we flip this over and we can just pop this onto the rear section of the receiver. Just line it up there. Make sure that it's not like teeth, but the little slots on the stock line up properly, because you don't want to tighten it up when it's not aligned. You might chonk the metal a little bit. So what's interesting with the SURG kit, now I went with the one with the thinner handguard because, disclaimer, I wasn't a fan of the SURG, but it is winning me over. So they had a SURG at HC2. I hadn't bought one. The one that they had was the one with the much bigger handguard, and feeling it, I was a massive fan of it. I love the spears, and this is more like a spear handguard, so that's the one I went with. So we do get a flash hider fitted out the box, and if you have any of the MCX suppressors, a couple of the models come with them. This one, which I've got on my Spear SD that I put together, actually came, it's got a tracer in it. It came with the Hunter. I've noticed the Hunters now are coming in a bronze colour rather than this baby sick FDE. But if you've got one of these suppressors, the great thing about it is it slots straight onto that flash hider. So it's the same fitment and arguably looks far better. But if you're buying this for literally just the surge and you want it as it's meant to be, we're going to take a little 1.5 millimeter Allen driver or Allen key. I believe it's 1.5. It is. And we basically just loosen that grub screw. This one goes in at an angle for some reason. So there might be a little bit of a miss machine on that, but this one goes in ever so slightly at an angle, so it doesn't come straight down. It actually comes in like this. So that's just probably a manufacturing error. This is just aluminium. It looks machined, but they've got this nice little 3-prong fascia. I actually do quite like these. So you would take that off. You've got an O-ring and a little washer on the front here, which, you know, I'd probably leave on. And you screw on, which is a 14mm counterclockwise thread. You screw on this behemoth that is the suppressor that comes with the surge kits. So for some reason, is it going to go all the way? I think it's just where the Allen key or the Allen screw has just chonked up the threads a little bit. So we just screw that down, and there we have the surge. And this thing, as you'll see, is ridiculous. It looks a little bit better on the thicker handguard model because obviously you haven't got this weird sort of empty space. But that is the surge kit. What is a surge kit? It's basically a like an upgrade kit that they did for like M4s. I can't always remember the acronym, but I think it's suppressed upper receiver group or something like that. I'm sure many people will correct me in the comments down below. But it's basically an MCX upper that goes on an M4 lower. Now, you can't just do this to like a regular DE or Salvo M4. From what we're told by Salvo is that these are machined a slightly different way to get to work. And we have tried it. We've pulled uppers off all of the MCXs that we have, and it won't just go onto this kit. So it's a little bit different. So, but you've got a normal blank lower receiver there. If we pull this apart, we just pop the pin out the back. The receiver itself, there's no flex in it whatsoever, yet you can just push the pin out. A lot of companies that sell expensive guns could learn something from that, getting those tolerances right. So we've got an M4 lower receiver, which is the same as like a DE or a Salvo. We have an MCX trigger pack that goes in here. We don't have the pin that comes up that secures to the buffer and stuff like that. We have this aluminium block, which looks very much like the rear end of an MCX. We've got a solid buffer, and then they give you this SIG MCX style stock, which isn't bad at all. The QD inserts that are found on the stock sit really loose, and the stock does wobble about a bit. Now, I did pull the M4 stock tube adapter off of the Hunter. It does go onto this surge rear section, but even tightened up, it just wobbles about. So it hasn't got as much ability to sort of tighten it up on that. So there must be a difference. So I did try a couple of other stocks as well. Of course, the VFC slide-in stocks do go on and they secure, but obviously we can't compress them down because the whole geometry is just a bit different. So I'm going to change this out. I'll probably go to like an Airsoft Artisan one or something, and I'll get an M4 stock tube one just to swap that out because I'm not a fan of this thing wobbling about. So when we pull the lower off, we can pull the bolt back. We have an MCX bolt here, but it has a different rear section, which basically takes up the empty space between the upper and the rear stock section like that. As far as I can tell, the bolt itself is pretty much the same. You are getting a steel bolt. Let's get the old magnet out because people love it. So bolt is going to be stainless, non-magnetic. All the other bits here are pretty much like aluminium, apart from the springs there. On the fire control group, steel hammer, steel sears, steel Z plate, steel bolt release, steel mag release, steel fire selector, steel trigger, and an aluminium trigger guard. So now, this being a UK spec gun, they do have a very short inner barrel. The inner barrel comes to about here. And they basically just do that so that all the guns out the box, that the bolts aren't fitted with MPass valves, they all come in at a jewel. So one thing I will say with the Jackal that we did, that has the DE NPass system fitted. I have found Double Eagle's MPass, and I've said this in previous videos, to be a little inconsistent. But what you could do, and what I will do, is with this SURG kit, I will extend the inner barrel and I will put an MPass in here. There's loads of companies that do them. I'm not just going to shamelessly plug my own, but there's myself and other companies that do them. So just pick the company that you want to go with, slap it in there and have a good time. But if you don't want to worry about that, you're not going to change out the inner barrel, which we'll get to in just a moment why I'm going to do that. You can leave it and it will just run one joule. So charging handle, usual hop-up systems, usual wheel, things like that. If we take off Gargantua here, the suppressor is so big. I think if it wasn't as long, it wouldn't be as bad. But it's also empty, so the whole suppressor system is empty, and then you've got a tube that goes through the middle. Now, we can slide the rail off, and you'll see, I really do like that the barrel is finished in like a RAL 8000 colour, as well as a couple of other these components, and Netzi loves that as well. The threads are a little bit chunked up on that barrel, but I don't know whether that's from factory. I think it kind of was. And then we were struggling to get it to sit tight, so we really had to sort of put some torque down on it. But that's how the thing slides off. It's dead easy. Again, you don't have the screws, which is probably why the rail system sits a bit more loose. We're going to quickly put this back together here. You can whack the charging handle all the way in and still drop the bolt in. And then we just lost the washer for the threads, like so. And then you've got this piece at the back here, which sits in the back. So I'm going to put this washer on. I'm going to put the flash hider back on, because we won't need the suppressor on there to test it. The suppressor doesn't really do anything. It's just for looks. And we're going to try and get this in place, and we'll tighten this grub screw down. So when Netzi was using this gun, we left it set up like this, and we attached this suppressor because it had a tracer in it. We did notice, looking back at some of my footage, you might see it in the gas blowback event gameplay. So in my footage and his footage, we did see that the BBs were either clipping the suppressor or they were clipping each other. We didn't look too much into it, but you were getting some BBs coming out and shattering. And that could just be with everything that's fitted onto the front of the barrel here, and the inner barrel being so short, that's probably what it is, which is why I'll be extending that inner barrel, but not all the way, because I'm going to be doing something funky with this. So let's get back to me saying that I wasn't a massive fan of the SURG. We were talking about it in the Discord quite a lot, and Netzi was going on about it, and I was like, you need to stop talking, because I'm going to end up buying a gun that I don't want. Because my argument was, you know, if you want an MCX, you go buy an MCX. You get the nice MCX lowers, everything's fitted, you know. The MCX platform from Salvo, especially in the Gen 2s and beyond, they're just a really solid platform. And they do a ton of different models. Like with the RSARs and stuff, you've got the QD mounts where they need to be. They're all over the gun. The Spears and the Hunters have the fixture screws to better hold in the rail system. I do like the Hunter where it has this sort of spear handguard and you've got this little piece that sits over the top. I just wish they got the colour right, so that's something that I'm going to fix. What I will do, I'll get this traded up and then I'll redo it in a better colour. I've just thrown the EOTech and magnifier on there because they actually really closely matched. So yeah, I wasn't sold on the SURG. I was more interested at the time with the Jackal. Now the Jackal has been great. You know, I've been using it in games. We've tried the Jackal. You haven't seen the gameplay yet with the Jackal with the AirTac lower on. It was absolutely fine. Yet when this came in, because Netzi wouldn't keep going on about it, and I'm blaming him for the purchase, but when this turned up, I actually found that, to be honest, with how this shoots and how it feels, it's weird. It doesn't feel like the MCXs. The blowback and recoil impulse from it just seem completely different. It's loud. It runs really well, apart from the clipping issue that we saw, but that could just be where it's clipping the tracer unit in here. Again, this isn't something that's meant to be on it in the box. This suppressor has a tube that goes all the way through, so maybe that helps, but it's just massive. And obviously when we were building this up for him, because he said he wanted to use the SURG, I hadn't reviewed it yet. It was sat in a box down there, and I was like, if you want to use the SURG, because you've been going on about the SURG, let's just use the SURG and we'll worry about the review afterwards. And the reason that I haven't done this review yet, because I've had the gun for a few weeks, is because I've been waiting. You guys loved the long form video where we included everything. I've been waiting for an allocation of time that will allow me to do that, and it just hasn't presented itself yet. So I might not get round to doing the range test in this video, just so you're aware, but it will follow. And that's just a time constraint. Otherwise, we sit on this gun for another 3 or 4 weeks, not having the time to do it, and by then nobody cares. So we get a gas magazine. Let me get some gas. So we'll open this up here. This is some Rebel Precision green gas. I've actually had quite good results out of this. I was using, I had been using some of the Nuprol Zero stuff, but I was getting some really funky results on that. And it's weird with green gases, like even though most green gas should be the same, people have their favorites. And so far, this one for me, this Rebel stuff has worked very well. You know, you guys know I've been using propane. There's a few comments that have been coming up as well. Why are you not using propane? I just haven't had the time to get my main tank filled, because I fill a big tank and then I decant the big tank into the Coleman's bottles. It's just much cheaper that way, and a Coleman's bottle costs you £1. So I have spent a small fortune on green gas recently. I had like 7 to 10 cans of it over there, and when I've been testing stuff and doing all sorts, it's just gone. So it's expensive. Probably not expensive for the most users, but when you're shooting as much as I do, it stacks up at £10–11 a can. So right, we've got that. Let's get some ammo. We'll try it on, we'll crane it on some 2.5s, just because that's what we've started doing now. Obviously, when we do the range test, we'll be doing it with all weights, so don't panic. So let's get some 2.5s here. Just in a speed loader to make it easier. And then let's find our adapter. There it is. So we're just going to take our little MWS adapter here. And we're going to, when you're filling up these DE and Salvo mags with these adapters, one thing you just have to be careful of is not letting that push forward. So what you want to do is when it's filled, you just want to push it back like that, because the feed lips aren't quite as tight and they can throw the rounds off. So let's turn the lights on. Let's find the chrono. Got the chrono over here. Let's find some glasses to make sure we are safe. Bear with me. Here we go. Chrono, we're set to 0.25s. We'll take this suppressor off for now. But we should be around about 1 joule. Like I say, we've already used it. Let's get some more glasses on. Like with a lot of the MCXs, because we're now using M4 lower, we don't get the added benefit of an ambi bolt release or mag release. You do get the spring twang off the nozzle, which is usual. We can fix that with a bit of grease. There we go. So the first one was a little bit of a light strike, but second one, we are bang on 1 joule. Let's continue testing it. There we go. Getting a couple of light strikes. It is warm in here. They're all 0.97 joules. Could just be this mag, because we were using other magazines and it was just fine. So let me grab another one. And I'll show you what I mean, hopefully. A lot of rounds has been put through this rifle before it's come on the bench to review. So, not that I'm giving them any excuses, of course. I just know how well this thing ran at the gas event. Like the AK, it probably just could do with a service after having so many rounds ran through it. So, let's try it with this mag. And we don't want to double feed it. Where did that BB go? Sitting in the top there. It's my fault for double feeding it. Right, we're empty on the chamber now. Hear the difference in that? Yeah, so back just under 1 joule. So all we did was change the mag. This mag is fresh out the box, so it could just be dry. So, yeah, the power output on that magazine for some reason is a bit all over the place. If we switch to this one, hear that? Hear how snappy and rapid it is? Auto. Nice and smooth. A little bit of gas spit, not a problem at all. So, being a UK spec gun, they're distributed in the UK, they come with short barrels, they're all firing a dual, which means you haven't got to faff about. That being said, we did notice clipping when we were using different suppressors. It could be, if you just bolted on a normal trace unit, you could be absolutely fine. It's just worth mentioning. And hopefully, if I give this video to Netsy to edit, maybe not, I might just want to get this up quick time. If you go look at the gas blowback event, you can see I'm coming around a corner and Netsy's behind me. And he starts drilling a target and you can see the BBs shattering for some reason. So it could just be the hop wasn't set and the BBs are rolling down the barrel and they're colliding. That could very much be it, but you know, worth a mention. So, but this thing ran incredibly well, and shooting it a lot in this room, seeing Netsy use it in the game, I actually think the unboxing and user experience from this was actually far superior to the Jackal. Now, I do love the Jackal. A lot of Americans get pissed off in the comments because they think that we're making all airsofters to blame for the fact that we're having models that they deem like poverty spec ARs. Obviously, all these guns shoot pretty much the same. It doesn't matter to us. We just like stuff like this because it looks cool and it is different. It doesn't matter, we're firing the same 6mm BB, but this thing, honestly, was such a better experience out the box. It feels like it shoots harder, it's got a faster cycle rate, and it's much louder, where the Jackal, it's just, I don't know how to describe it to you, it's just not quite as aggressive. Hopefully you can hear that. So it's more of like a thud. Now it could just be the way that the surges are set up. You know, you're smacking it back into a solid buffer. But when you fire it, it's a lot more aggressive, a lot more punchy, and that's what we like. So, not putting the Jackal down, like I say, because I've had a great time with that gun. It really did convert me. So, I thought that I would end up buying this gun into review and then having to flog it because I wasn't really interested in the Surge. Again, this thing's going to go into the suppressor tub along with all the other suppressors, and maybe we'll find a use for it. I don't know. My plans for this platform are drastic, and you might, you know, there's going to be a lot of people out there that say, well, why would you buy the Surge if you're going to modify it? It's just me. It's just what I do. So, plans for this, I am going to be changing the grip to something that I always use, which will probably be a Kung Fu grip from Die Free Co. People say I put that on a lot of guns, and I think it's just one of them, put whatever you want on it. Now, I have guns that have Magpul grips on all sorts, but that grip for me personally, and these are my guns, I use them, that's what I like. So once I find something I like, I tend to fit it on a lot of stuff. I've seen that a lot of other places stock in Die Free Co now, but it's in stock on the website. If you want to grab yourself one, I won't lie, the grip is not for everybody. It's a nice, It's a very sharp angle on the grip. The texturing's quite aggressive, but I like that. I wear gloves, so I just get on with it. So we'll be going Daifriko, Kung Fu. We'll put a Tiger Claw on here. And this is all the stuff that Netzi ran. So I'll just grab all the bits that have come off this rifle, because basically what I wanted to do was just return it back to original so you guys could see how it came out the box. But you know, we had rail covers on it, we had a sight, we had the Daifriko stuff on, we had a torch on as well, and a little M-lock doodad that I bought these cheap off Amazon. They're actually pretty good for what they are. It's just a nice little thing, keeps it out of the way. A lot of people have been asking about these M-lock covers. They are coming soon. It's a product of our own design. It's just something very cool. I love the topographic. We're doing that. Those are going to be coming very soon under the Sector 7 brand. More information on that when it's available, but the manufacturing is almost complete. We'll also have like 3 slots, 2 slots, 1 slot. We're going to go even one step further. A few of you have messaged me asking what the deal is with that. So Jaeger Precision as a company, we're a company that makes airsoft stuff. We make parts, we do, you know, accessories and things like that. We're now branching in. We have been in the space of working with companies doing real steel stuff. So the Sector 7 brand will still be under the Jaeger Precision umbrella, but it's where we do stuff for real steel, because as an airsoft company, we can't really do parts for real steel. As an airsoft company, it doesn't make sense. So we're setting up a new brand which will just be real steel stuff, but it will still be relevant for airsoft. So those bits will be coming soon. But yeah, we put all these bits on. I am going to be making further drastic changes to this rifle. I want to shorten the handguard, and the handguard I've actually got because it came off the Rattler when we built the Spear SD. So this used to be on this rifle here. We removed it, we modified that handguard to make a Spear SD because Salvo didn't make one. And this is what, it's not going to be perfect because, you know, these receivers don't have threaded holes. Maybe that's something that we can add to better secure it. So we're going to be going with a shortened handguard. We're going to get a shortened barrel system. Maybe with it being shortened, we can fit this on, and it might make more sense not being too long, because again, I'm going to be speccing this up for CQB. We'll change the stock to an M4 one. I'll probably go with an Airsoft Artisan for that one. And yeah, just make it something that I like to mess about with stuff. I think we'll probably put an Aero Precision lower on this as well. And just have some fun with this Surge. It's turned from something that I was never interested in purchasing, but I'm glad I did. And it's an in-between of the M4s and the MCXs. Shooting experience, it's going to be closer to the MCX over the M4 because you've got shortened bolt, you've got no buffer system, there's less recoil, but the thing is fantastic to shoot. It feels great. The only downside I've found on this rifle so far is the handguard is slightly loose, but that would be easy to fix. I imagine we could even fix it by loosening these screws, pushing that clamp a little bit further this way, retightening the screws down, so as this handguard comes in and is secured by the pin, it sits more up against the upper receiver, and it will probably eliminate that. So we'll get to a range test very soon with it out the box like this. We'll use out the box performance. We'll use all the original parts inside. We won't change anything. We didn't change anything for the CQB game. It's just I'm on limited time. I wanted to get this video out there. So we'll do the range test. We'll do a build. Maybe I'll do a video where we tart this up to how Netzi was using it. Stay tuned for that one. That one will follow. And then we'll get to modifying this thing further. So thank you for tuning in again and following another video. Hopefully you like it. What do you think of the Surge? Is it all that? Is it just another fad gun that people are going crazy about, but then it will be forgotten about very soon? Let me know down in the comments below. Like the video and subscribe if you've enjoyed yourself. It does help a lot. 80 to 90% of all our viewers are not subscribed, so we really would appreciate you sticking around if you want to. But that is the Surge kit. This is the one with the slightly thinner handguard from Salvo Precision. You've been watching Jaeger Precision, all the precisions. So thank you very much for sticking with me if you have, and we'll be seeing you in the next one.